starters. What is your position on the constitutional amendment for a 5/8% sales tax increase, which a small portion would go to cultural?
Arts and crafts, we call them, yes. To be precise, I believe it's 0.3% increase in the existing sales tax. When the bill was to take an existing 1/16, when it originally was proposed, the existing 1/16 of existing sales tax revenue to fund outdoor and heritage type things, I thought it was innocuous enough and probably could work, although there is a fundamental problem I have with governance philosophy. And that is that the people get together to choose one of us to legislate things. And that includes setting the biennial budget. Sometimes we need to move money around. The next biennium, we're already facing at least a $1.1 billion shortfall. We've got to be able to move things to make things fit, because constitutionally we have to balance the budget. That's what legislators do. We're the policymakers that debate things and spend endless hours in committee with research and with all kinds of examination of the situation and try to make the best possible informed judgment. When we start carving out portions of the budget and constitutionally dedicating them to one area or one interest, and admittedly, clean water, outdoor heritage, and those things are very important, that takes away from the legislative prerogative to adjust to the current reality of where the budget is, where it might be sometime in the future. This, however, in order to buy enough political influence or votes to get it on the ballot in the fall, had morphed into 1/16 of existing revenue and into 3/8 of new revenue, and we had to pull in what I call the arts and crafts people to get enough inner city liberals to vote for the bill to get it on the ballot. So it's become some sort of, in my opinion, a political monstrosity. I know it's going to grieve my hunting and fishing friends to hear me say this, but I am not endeared and enamored by the idea of Constitution dedicating the budget. And this will be an interesting vote this fall, because the voters get to speak. We put it on the ballot for the people to decide whether they want to raise their taxes and whether they want to mandate that kind of spending for the next 25 years.
Thank you, Mike. Sue, what is your position on this constitutional amendment?
Well, I'll tell you, the question of putting a question on the ballot to change a constitution, I also have some concerns about. A constitution is a fundamental document that I really think we need to try to keep as true to the original writing as we can. And so, you know, I struggled with this. I did, because it's not my inclination to want to change this very fundamental document. But as you think about the document reflects what is of value to us. Right now, the document talks about public education. The document talks about transportation. The document talks about things that we value, that are important to us. And if you think about it, what is Minnesota? Minnesota really is the environment. I mean, that is something that maybe that has really drawn us here, is Minnesota's commitment to what's environmental. And I would have to say that because it does reflect a core value, I believe, for Minnesotans, that perhaps this is a proper place to ask that question. As for voting for it, I will be voting for it. I believe, again, that this is something that's necessary. I also believe it sunsets after 25 years. So this will be something that we can try for 25 years to see what it does to budgeting and allocations, because, you know, Mike's correct, legislators, that's our job, is to do that. But I really believe in this instance, this is a very good example of where it demonstrates what's important to Minnesotans, and I can support that.
Thank you, Sue. Sue, are there any major issues you disagree with your party on?
Disagree? Well, you know, I would say that disagree with my party. I know I've had a lot of disagreements with other, you know, with issues on education. I know that I've had disagreements in trying to challenge my party. Boy, you guys are coming up with good ones. I wish I was the second answer to that, because that's a really good question. Because I know there are. Because I honestly, as a school board member, you know, I went to St. Paul as an advocate for schools, and quite honestly, I saw bad behavior on both sides of the aisle. That's one reason why I'm doing this. I don't know if I would necessarily disagree. I'm not going to come up with an issue, but I really think that we have seen people behave badly when it comes to trying to fix the problems that are important. I think there are Democrats who have become very partisan and have dug in their heels and have used poor judgment in their responses to what is probably a good idea from the other side of the aisle. I know that, and that's a big reason I didn't get to say it in my first statement, but that's a big reason why I'm here today. Because I've seen bad behavior on both sides, and I just don't think that that's what, we have some tough times right now. And I want to be able to have every possibility on the table and be able to talk about everything so that we can solve the problems that are before us.
Thank you, Sue. Mike, major issues you disagree with your party?
Let me lay a little groundwork here first before I come to 2 points that I think we can talk about. We have the platform of the party itself at the state level and the national level. We also have in St. Paul what we call our caucuses. There's the House DFL caucus, the GOP caucus, and so on and so forth. And in my case, I serve with the Republican governor. So I'm wondering, which party are we talking about? The governor's view of the world, the caucus's view of the world, or the party platform's view of the world? So let me talk about 2 in particular that I disagree primarily with the governor on, and then one where I disagree with the caucus on. Global warming. The governor for several years has been a proponent that the world is getting hot. It's all our fault, darn it, we're all going to die if we don't do something really radical really fast. I strenuously disagree with him on that. His position has changed a little bit, I think, as he's realizing that the science is still coming in on what's going on with the climate. Our caucus has always vigorously opposed him on that. And so in that case, I stood with my caucus because we believe the same things. We're looking at the same evidence and hearing the same hearings. The governor, however, was running in another direction. So do I differ with the governor, or do I differ with my party? Who's what here? Another case, I suppose I could deal with the party platform on the gas tax. The platform of the Republican Party has always been adamantly opposed to any new taxes. I've always campaigned that I would vote for a reasonable gas tax. And then this time, of course, we had the caucus split behind closed doors. I suppose it's no secret now, over whether we should go for a gas tax or not. But then we found ourselves outmaneuvered by our DFL friends on a mega honking pig of a bill, House Bill 2800, of course, where we got the governor's override. I differed with my caucus on how we handled that. And in that case, I strenuously disagreed with my caucus on that issue. Is that the party that I'm disagreeing with, or is that the state GOP, or is that the governor? It's a complicated thing. That's what I hope you get across to you. The point is, you have to know where true north is in your own heart and follow that to the best of your ability.
Thank you, Mike.